Hi guys, I'm Sean, you're watching Shopworx. On this episode we're going to get the engine set in here and switch out my spring hangers on the back there and the shackles. All the screw ups from before there, bolt in the crank, and get that tank out, get the shackles on, and do a little welding on the back there and come up with some new problems. So stay tuned and we'll get at her. Well guys, got one door thrown on it there. Don't have nothing lined up or anything, but first view of it sitting out with the topper on it. Door, a little bit of an interior. Still going through, putting the rest on it. We're going to grab that engine and get that bolt fixed up on the crank. Well, you guys might be wondering a bit there why I drug that out, and let me put this on here. We got the broken bolt on here. I got the ram on the engine hoist there seeping oil and dropping. We're going to be putting it back in with the excavator there. But I got to get this bolt out, so I'm going to hopefully get it with the left-handed drill bit. That was from the bad torque specs I found in multiple places online. I have to go back and double check my good ones and make sure that they're all going to be okay too. But in the meantime, get the bolt out. Want to come hold this? Yep. Go get here. Bolt's broken at a funny angle. I'm going to be using a left-handed bit, so hopefully it'll back the bolt out eventually. Ooh, the bolt's loose. So I said, that's even better. If I can just Another little sideways there. Left-handed bit had enough to pull it out without even having to drill much on there. We'll grab the other end of that bolt. You can see where it snapped there and at that funny angle. So. Anyway, Ford wants 170 US for enough bolts to redo it, and got all the bolts grade 8, which is what I can tell they are. Right length, everything for $5.47 at my local bolt place. So, not sure what Ford's big deal is on there, but big difference in price. So, have to get the adapter and the flex plate found and get all this put back on here again. Been a little while since I've been at it, so I'll have to dig. Well, we got everything cleaned up. So, get her lined up and popped in.
The hammer right there. Gently.
There we go.
Just like that.
Got to use Loctite on these things because they're oil passes through the crank, and there's one here without a hole in it. I got paint marker on everything when I tore this apart. So it all lines up that way. We'll go this one here, which would put us right here. And all these get torqued to 47 foot-pounds. Not the 87 I was finding everywhere. Strike, John.
Maybe it's got the motor's got to be slid to the front's got to be slid over to the west. Well, they're in the hole. Looks like they ought to come back in probably. Off to 3/4 of an inch. We have 2 of the bolts started in the flex plate.
Well, got it in after a lot of struggling and farting around. Did find an issue though. Not sure if you can see right down in here or not. I'm out about a bolt width on the motor mount. Same over here. And you can see I'm touching the firewall with the block. So I still got to go back. And it's not letting me. I did get everything bolted up elsewise though. Transmission back to the flywheel and all that there. Still got to put the torque converter bolts onto the flywheel. Or the flex plate. And everything's loose there. Converter still has some movement, so that's good. We're not going to bugger up the pump when we get that together. So I guess I got to come up with a plan now where I can go and enable this thing to slide backwards another well, I actually give it about an inch worth of clearance anyway. It'd be a good idea. So probably have to cut a piece out of the inside there and put a patch in, unfortunately. Best intentions didn't pan out. So where that works out inside is going to be right back on this corner here. Should be able to make something work there. Not sure what or how much, but we'll cut a chunk out, keep cutting it back until I got the engine sitting where it needs to sit, and then make sure I have enough clearance, and then we'll come up with a patch. In the meantime, kind of wanted to stand over here by it and give you guys an idea of the actual size of this thing. Definitely going to need them running boards. Well, looks like I'll probably end up having to pull the front ones too. Just kind of hoping not to. Doesn't look like they'll allow me to get it out though. At least have to loosen them off a bit. Them off, and hopefully it'll gain enough. Now that gained a bit. Hopefully we can get it out. Well, I guess at this point, we can jack this up and we can start changing out the brackets and shackles. Probably shouldn't need to be said, but I'm just going to do one side at a time here, and then we don't have to put the whole thing up on jack stands. I can change the elevation, put it all back together. So I guess I'll get at it. This one out. There we go. Now, let that down, that'll come up, and I'll have room to work. So first of all, I guess these all come with new hardware here, but show you the difference here between them. Same length, all that. I guess this is a Super Duty one here too, but I had to modify it to get it to fit inside. You can see how much I had to take off with the grinder. Is it still safe? I would expect so. I think there's a lot of overkill built into that, and you know, there's a bit of a dome in there, so I still had a lot of meat in here, but I don't know, I just don't like it. And I have the time now. Originally I was going to plan to switch them anyway, but I have the time now to do it. However, this one here is not as rounded on the inside here, so there should be lots of room. The body's a set, number one. Lots of room. I can almost get my fingers under there. Nothing's impeding it right from the get-go, so that's why we're doing it. That's also why I never filled any diesel in the tank there at all. I was going to throw some in a little while back and thought better of it. I guess we'll get it grinding these off now and get at her. For the air hammer, I've got the rivets pounded out. Going to be cleaning it up, give it a nice good surface to bolt to, and we'll get the one side going here, get it back together, and then do the other side. The reason I only want to do one side now, if it falls, it still has support across there. I didn't really want to try putting jack stands on the frame because I got to adjust it up and down, take stuff out, and just a pain in the butt. So make some dust. You know, these surface prep discs from Amazon, they're not the best, but for the price, they're pretty darn good. You get some good brand name ones that seem to last longer, but I tell you, makes quick work of it. Anyway, not sure if you can see how much deeper it is in there or not. So, what I found out here is the bolt holes are a little different on them. I'll use this hole here to And I'll weld up these other 3 and then re-drill them. I've got my copper backing strip in the back there, keep things easy. I won't have to grind the back out in an awkward position. Grind the front, but won't have to grind the back. So, get this tightened down here. Get in there. These all have a interference fit nut on them, so that's what I was using a regular bolt to line it all up with earlier. Double check these things are good and tight. There we go with that. So before I get carried away here, put this back there. The bolt comes in from that side. Now the easy way. Too far. And again, interference nuts, you can see they're squished right where I'm holding them. And there be one done. So that's the new one with the Super Duty style mount, Super Duty shackle on the rear Super Duty springs. So you can see how much gap we have in there. And when you look at this one, you can see the other issue with no gap. So that's why I'm changing it. We'll get this one done next and have another problem fixed. Well, we'll get her cleaned up and fill these 3 holes again and re-drill them, have it ready to go. Well, that's got both sides done up, so I'm going to drop this now and move on to some other stuff. I don't think I need the jack anymore. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these up here, probably a zap strap or something like that. So I'm going to be mounting this junction box in here for my wiring. Went ahead, found a scrap piece of steel there, and drilled it out, pre-cut it, build the rest in with some weld there for what it is. We'll have that glued on there. And a lot of people probably don't know this. You know, everybody's seen the ones with just the 7 studs on it, your standard trailer box. These ones here I got 14 pins, so I put my regular standard 7, then I have some auxiliary. Still going to have too many wires, so some of these, like the ones for the relays for the rear window when I do it, are going to be just passed through because it's the only thing they're ever going to control. So stuff I plan on tapping off of multiple times, you know, different trailer plugs, etc. Will get tied on there, and then everything else, it's just a one-shot wonder, goes wherever it's supposed to be. So get this cleaned up and on there, and then we'll get the fuel tank back in. One thing I'm going to show here, don't know if it's been seen on one of the other videos or not there, how we put the sender in with the pickup for the diesel heater. So we ended up having the sender out because this is a 38-gallon tank. We adjusted it down there, try to get a fairly accurate reading that way. And while the sender was out, we drilled a hole and put the pickup line down in there. Left it so it's I think 2.5 inches off the bottom, so you can't suck it right dry on you and pooch yourself. These trucks here, I always run the front tank first, then the rear. The reason I run the front tank first and then the rear is the rear tank here sits between the frame. You've got all that weight and it's all centered. Front tank sits off to the one side there. You really don't have anything counteracting your weight on the other side, so you get a bit of a lean to it. So usually I run the front unless I'm towing something big and heavy with the gooseneck, and I'll usually burn off a bit on each as I go. Kind of nice having the 38 gallons of diesel here in the winter time too when you're driving on icy roads or 4 traction. That's another reason I save it for the end. So anywho, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and put on. Alright, let that cool off, hit her quick with the flap sander, and ready to melt that box after. This one makes it a little harder. Still doable. Well, just go inside now and do the others, tighten them back up, put all my hoses and pieces back on there, and we'll be back to where we were, I guess. Well guys, the way I see it now, we're pretty much fixed up everything that I knew needed to be fixed up before the Connex though. You know, the one I was rushing to get this thing for. Yeah. Anything from here on out I think is going to be all new mistakes or whatever the case may be, such as this engine. I really thought putting the 4-inch body lift on here should just clear everything, so this is my new conundrum now, is how I want to fix this. You know, I'm looking at either shimming it out on the motor mounts, which is doable, or I end up cutting a chunk out of the firewall and building it back out on the inside, which is doable as well. Just, you know, sucks once it's painted. My only concern, if I do move everything forward on the motor mounts, I got enough play in the drive shaft, on the front drive shaft, I got enough play in the rear drive shaft, I can finagle it a bit. You know, by the time I move everything up though, I don't know how much clearance I have for all the accessories, the fan shroud, etc. So yeah, word of wisdom there, that firewall kind of slopes back in. Never thought of it, never crossed my mind as being a problem. You hear people putting on 2-3-inch body lifts without an issue, and here I am, we're touching. So have to get that figured out. In the meantime, we're sitting pretty with everything else there. Got the transmission bolted up onto it. Still got to put the torque converter to flywheel or flex plate bolts in, and got the back done up. So I'm going to call this a win for now anyway. So I guess next time we get a video here, we're going to be either moving the engine forwards or moving the firewall backwards. So this is why I left all the fenders and stuff. I thought about building it out, putting the rad support in. I just thought it'd, you know, make things harder and harder, and thankfully I can actually see what's going on back here now because I didn't do that. Yeah, anybody has any great ideas on what I should be doing here, you know, please let me know. I'm sure somebody else has went through this once or twice before on something like this. I don't know what the lesser of all evils will be if I cut the inside here and re-weld everything back in there and pop off my heat shield there. I'm going to have to go and repaint everything, seam seal it. And ultimately I think that's probably my best choice. But then I also have to monkey around with the accelerator pedal because it no longer dishes back into that recess in there. So we're going to have some fun with that. So yeah, if anybody's got any comments on what I should be doing there, please let me know. And if you don't mind, like and subscribing. You know, a lot of people I talk to thinks this is a cool build. So finding a lot of subscribers that way, just word of mouth. So anywho, see you around.